Rob, disappointment again at the Gardens. Sum it all up for us.
Yeah, not really disappointment, more frustration probably a little bit, because we were well in a tough Premiership game of rugby. We were right in there at the end again. We've come away with a losing bonus point, so a lot of positives, a few areas for us to work on. I think probably my biggest frustration is how we started the game. We didn't do what we said we were going to do. That allowed Northampton some early start points in the game that we'd kind of planned specifically for them not to have. And all of a sudden, we let the team under pressure, but it was mainly stuff that we kind of allowed to happen, and that's a little bit frustrating. But then, we settled down, got doing the things we wanted to do. We kicked the way we said we were going to kick. We created the territory we said we were going to create, and we played the way we said we were going to play. And what happens? All of a sudden we look the better team. And I think I was frustrated with that first part of the game, because ultimately, when you look at the scoreline at the end, that's probably what stopped us creating enough pressure to really let the game break open. And then at the end, you've got to give credit to Northampton. They squeezed us. They squeezed out some soft penalties out of us, which again are frustrating for me, and that created the field position for them to finish the game off. But am I disappointed with 6 points out of 2 games? We played Sale and we've been away to Northampton. No, it's a good solid start to the season, which is what I said we'd want to do. And we've got, from a coaching perspective, a good performance that we can really work with. We can ask some questions of the players as to why we did certain things. We can point out probably the repercussions of what can happen if you give away, why give away a soft penalty in defence against a team that are only going to kick it in the corner, and then you're going to have to defend the driving line out, and then you're going to be under more pressure, when we know we can defend 7, 8, 9 phases, and we don't need to be worrying. And those little things, when you get the team really appreciating them all, under the pressure that happens in Premiership games, you just slowly become a little bit better. We were better today than we've ever been at Franklin's Gardens. That's a nice step forward for us. The key thing for myself and Ali and Ricky to do now is make sure we learn from everything that happened here today, and next week we're a little bit better, and the week after we're a little bit better. We're obviously doing something right, because we're closing the gap. We're in the lead at half time for the first time, and we had them under a lot of pressure for quite a long time, and that's something we've just got to keep working at and keep getting better at.
You talk about next week, London Welsh away. They're in the same position as we were a couple of years ago. No one's expecting them to do anything. Makes them very dangerous, doesn't it?
Well, in my eyes, they're the most dangerous team in the league, because I would like to think that with our experiences we know what they'll be fighting for. We know they've had a good long break from Friday night, and they'll be learning from their time in the Premiership. So, my feeling is that teams become more dangerous the longer they stay in the Premiership, not less dangerous. Some people tend to think that teams get battered and worn down and run over by it all. Well, there's a proof of the pudding somewhere, and it's Exeter, and you don't get battered and worn down. You learn, and you can stand, and you can fight, and you can get a little bit better each week. And that's what London Welsh will be training hard this week to do. They'll be aiming to be better than last week, and they'll be aiming to get stuck into Exeter, because they know they were playing us 2 or 3 years ago, and they weren't worried about it when they played us then, and why are they going to worry about it when they play us now? So we have to have a really good solid week this week. If anything, this is the crucial week of the 3 in a lot of ways. Like I say, I'd be very, very disappointed if we don't get our attitude just right, because we're going to have to get it right to go up there and get anything out of the game.
Attitude is obviously key, and we've seen it again, the boys finishing so strongly, and that bonus, there won't be many sides that come here and get things like that. No, and it's funny, isn't it? I knew we were receiving that last kick-off, and I was kind of sitting there getting quite excited, because I thought, well, if any team's going to keep the ball and try and go the length of the pitch and really go for it, well, we will, And as it was, we got away from, we were doing pretty well, to be fair. We were doing pretty well, and we got turned over. No problems at all with the turnover. We probably didn't quite make the right decision the way with a couple of options we took there, but hey ho, we were having a go. Like I said, bonus point here, following up a 5-pointer, is no disgrace. Northampton are a good side, they're a good squad, well coached, they're a well-established side, and that was a close game. It was a hell of a game of Premiership rugby for a long time. Obviously, the other disappointment was the loss of Josh Jatupu. A bit early now to really say but didn't look great. First outcomes is it looks relatively serious. We'll obviously know more tomorrow. Listen, what can you say for Josh? He's been outstanding at the start of the season now. I thought he was very, very good again today. All I can say is I hope the injury is not something that means we don't see him again soon, because the lad deserves to be playing plenty of rugby. He's a good guy, great character around the club, and we'll get him back as soon as we can. Thanks, Rob.